In a breather for the telecom sector, the Union Cabinet on September 15th approved a crucial relief package that includes a 4-year moratorium on payment of statutory dues by cash-strapped telecom firms. It also allowed 100% foreign direct investment in telecom companies through the automatic route. Importantly, the definition of AGR or adjusted gross revenue was rationalized to exclude non-telecom revenue of telcos for the payment of statutory levies on a prospective basis. AGR refers to revenues that are considered for payment of statutory dues. The package came after industry analysts sounded the alarm over chances of the country's telecom market turning into a duopoly. Primarily, it provides relief to Vodafone Idea, which is on the brink of bankruptcy. Overall, the cabinet approved 9 structural and 5 procedural reforms regarding telcos. Some of the other measures include a change in spectrum tenure. For future auctions, the tenure of spectrum ownership was increased from 20 to 30 years. For spectrum acquired in future auctions, there will be no spectrum usage charge and a surrender will be permitted after 10 years. Now, we go to the experts to understand the impact of the package. First, we have with us Deepak Jasani, who is the head of retail research at HDFC Securities.
The Union Cabinet's pragmatic decision on providing relief to the telecom sector, though long awaited, brings some finality to expectations. Now the ball is in the court of telecom players on how soon and how much can they improve their ARPUs, as without this we are only postponing the troubles. Changing the definition of AGR by excluding the non-telecom revenues is welcome. However, it is made applicable only prospectively. Hence, the past demands on this count may not be reduced. Allowing 100% FDI in telecom sector is welcome and may be needed to rescue the third player who is debt-laden. Allowing 4-year moratorium for payment of AGR and spectrum dues is welcome, but interest is still payable on the extension. This moratorium may bring in some relief to lenders to these telecom companies. Overall, the second player in the industry is likely to be the biggest beneficiary of these announcements, while the third trouble player will require ARPU rise and equity infusion by existing or new players to remain afloat after a few quarters.
Next, we go to Ambarish Baliga, an independent market analyst.
Since the woes of telecom space exploded 2 years back, and there was a question on survival of Vodafone Idea, now VI, I have been maintaining that the government doesn't have a choice but to ensure that VI survives. With the promoters washing their hands off in the last couple of months, it was quite clear that VI was more of a government's problem than that of the owners, since there are too many stakeholders which the government can't really wish away, whether it's the lending institutions which have a large exposure, the employees and those dependent on VI for their living, risk of hurting the international image on shutting down of a large telecom operator, and most important, the risk of a duopoly would have finally resulted in rise in tariffs, which is again detrimental for the vote bank, as telecom is the basic necessity. So yes, they did ensure that VI survives, but just about survives with this telecom package, not really thrive. I don't know whether it will help VI turn around, as that would depend on how the ARPUs move up from here on. And even if ARPUs move up, whether VI will be able to take advantage of one, since they have lost nearly 30% of their customers in the last 2 years. And secondly, the gap between the ARPUs of VI and Jio has been large, which puts forth a question on their ability to increase tariffs in line with competition. So on the face of it, the package is welcome. The 4-year moratorium could have been longer to match the cash flows of the weakest player, which is VI. The interest rate could have been moderated. The FDI increase to 100% is surely welcome, but would it be wishful to expect a suitor for VI at this juncture? And the spectrum sharing is a welcome move, which could in fact be a win-win for all the players concerned. However, the department should have reviewed the AGR and provided a long-term solution than to defer the inevitable, hoping that time will find a solution.
The shares of Vodafone Idea spiked nearly 7% in intraday trade on Wednesday, before ending the day about 3% higher than their previous close on the BSE. Bharti Airtel shares, meanwhile, hit a fresh 52-week high of Rs 735 apiece after they surged 6% in intraday trade and ended 4.5% higher than previous close. By the day's end, Airtel's market capitalization had reached Rs 3.98 trillion. For reference, this is higher than SBI's Rs 3.96 trillion and Kotak Bank's Rs 3.7 trillion.
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.